What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Chromecast. My name's Joe, joined here today by Gabriel. What are you laughing at over there?
Hello. I'll tell you in a minute.
And Robbie.
Hola. We were just talking about this being plants, and I was just a random reel I saw the other day that said, what mammals have hair and give milk, so a coconut is a mammal. Fair. It's not actually milk; it's water.
So,
I feel like there's some other qualifications, but you know.
Welcome to the show.
Then you have the poor platypus who
Was that in the shot back there? That circle light?
It's slightly in that shot. Did it just go out?
Yeah, it just went off. Why would it do
It's
that?
it's being powered by the battery pack down there. So the battery pack's probably dead.
Battery's dead.
wow.
Is what it is.
I got a full one in my backpack.
Well,
We could bring it back.
it's a
for
little.
the second half of the show.
We'll bring it back.
Doesn't matter. We're remodeling tomorrow anyways.
Yeah.
Rearranging.
We
No, taking walls out.
we want to. Well, we've talked a lot about doing
We might as well just say it.
golf content,
Just
and
say
so
it.
we're rearranging and getting the simulator in the big office where our desks are, and where we have, if you've seen thumbnails or B-roll, where we have the living room set built out. We're going to move the living room set, actually, I think in here.
Yeah.
Maybe start podcasting from it, which I'm
Stoked
super stoked
out of
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, I want to do a more
psyched out of my mind about.
particular.
If you get that,
we don't have a website.
If you get that
here.
reference, good on you. Something I'm particularly psyched out of my mind
Yeah.
about.
the way he slides.
Yeah.
If you get that reference, kudos to
It's a
you.
good one.
So this is going to be, mostly we're just like video content and social stuff. So.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
writing.
So no, definitely not writing.
Not that I don't.
I
like
was
writing.
just thinking that
Don't want to write about
we
golf
could.
content.
I would love to, offer our people that support us some cool merch.
Yeah.
You got a logo, right? You made a logo.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. We talked
we-
about maybe doing something else, but then I was showing it to Landon last night, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's pretty sweet.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. It's the. I forgot we did one video on it.
Uh-huh. How many views does it have?
100,000.
Really? Nice.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But it's been out there for 6 months
Yeah.
probably, or maybe.
Still.
But it's been promoted 0. So, yeah, it's. And I want to say this too. Like every time we talk about this in any Chrome Unboxed scenario, we will always, I feel like for a while, have to say this. Like, this isn't like we're eking our way out of doing Chrome Unboxed stuff and then going to go do something else and quit
Yeah,
this.
and we're also not going to. This isn't an attempt to fold golf stuff into
No.
Chrome Unbox.
No.
Chrome Unbox is going to be Chrome Unbox, and it's going to evolve as Google stuff evolves. And this is just something else that we enjoy and we want to make content
Side
about.
project.
Well, we created Chrome Unboxed as a side hustle. Like it was a side hustle to our regular jobs. And then now it's our regular
Tis
job.
no
and so
longer.
it's like there's just something in us that desires the side hustle.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, let's do one that we enjoy and we're doing anyway. So
Yeah.
same ideas, kind of what Chrome Unboxed is.
Yeah, and I think we've maybe mentioned it on here before, but this idea of, technology in golf and how launch monitors and simulators are giving us so much more data that we've never had before in golf. And then club tech and any other tech around golf is kind of going to be our focus.
I get the same, like, my donkey senses are tingling, about golf tech. Specifically, so like
If
launch
you got that
monitors.
reference and even more friends, you should come hang out with us.
My donkey senses are tingling all over. I'm a stallion, baby. I can win it. Sorry, I know all that.
Oh man,
I'm straight up. I'm Will Smith and
kids
I Am Legend.
hate it. My kids hate
Have y'all seen I Am Legend?
Oh yes.
Where he's sitting there just like mouthing along to all of Shrek the entire time, and I think the lady or whatever looks at him. And he's like, "I like Shrek."
I like Shrek.
Oh my gosh, who did until you said I Am Legend, who signed on for the sequel? Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna find it.
I don't remember, but yeah. So the idea, of like tech invading this space, and this is not a dig at anybody that's doing anything around launch monitors or anything like that, but we know how to make video content. We know how to create this stuff, and there's just I don't know, there's just some stuff missing. I feel like in that space, and it's a space that I feel like is going to change drastically. And I will do my best to remember to link this in the show notes. Maybe Joe make a note. He'll write it down. It'll happen. There is an episode of Adventures in Golf, which I think we've talked about on here before. Eric Anders Lang, who is a documentarian, he works with Scratch Golf to create these just absolutely fantastic documentaries about golf courses.
Very well done.
And the end result always is, you talk about the golf course, but it's always about how golf as a communal sport impacts these different communities around the world, and the different impacts that those golf courses or the people that work at those golf courses have, and all, it's just crazy. Then there's one episode where he goes to South Korea, and he goes to it starts the episode at Golf Zone, which I've started seeing some of their stuff around in the U.S. They're not as prevalent here just yet, but they're working on it. They actually have the simulator set up that they've got their own software and everything, but the floor actually changes tilt, based on your lie.
So cool.
Which is pretty wild. Spelled Golf Zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're Googling it, it's Golf Zone.
It's just Z-O-N.
Yeah,
but their CEO, I think, in that video at one point says Golf Zone, and then he says Golf Zone.
Yeah, but if you look it up and look at what they're doing, it's
awesome.
It's very cool.
Awesome, yeah.
But then he does a video about what they call screen golf, and I love that terminology. I think that's great. I like screen golf, and I like this term of off course golf that's kind of taking over in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're seeing this culmination now of golf has had a huge resurgence. It's not like it was falling completely off or anything, but it's having this massive resurgence since the pandemic. All these new people are invested in playing, and if you ever play golf and you start playing and you hit a couple good shots, the addictive nature of this game that can be so frustrating, but then just so wildly addicting. And so now there's all these people playing, so there's all this money and stuff in golf. So if you think about that on one end, and then you watch this thing that I'm going to link down there, the Adventures in Golf, about the over 5,000 simulator bays that exist in South Korea, that more of those exist than Starbucks in that country, and that the vast majority, not like 51%, but the absolute vast majority of people they have more people that play golf per capita in that country than any other country in the world, and the vast majority of them choose to always play indoor, to play screen golf. And so,
it's not for lack of options. There are some really nice golf courses.
Zone owns 18 courses.
They have
I think he
really
says,
nice golf courses
in South Korea. Yeah. So it's like, and South Korea is not a massive country. It's not like we're talking about the United States as far as land mass here. And so, I mean, there's a lot of golf possibilities going on there. And so when I watch that, I'm like, that happened there, sure, but it's just a matter of people getting educated to realize there are ways to play this game that don't require you to spend 4 hours at a golf course and spend $80 or $90 on your green fees and all that kind of stuff. And that, again, it's not to take away from regular golf. It's just
'cause we love regular golf.
This is this infusion that's happening, and when you start looking at the numbers of people that are doing off-course golf in the United States, it's I don't know, 60% of people that quote unquote play golf participated in off-course golf. So that means they've done like Top Golf or Screen Golf or something like that. And so you start seeing all this stuff, and I just have that feeling like we're getting ready. I could see the U.S. moving, because we're a tech-minded group of people over here in the States. We like this kind of stuff. Most people just don't realize it's good. Like, they maybe went to a golf simulator 20 years ago, and they're like, "Oh, this is trash." They don't realize how good it's gotten, how easy it is to do this. And so, anywho, I think from a consumer perspective, there's a bunch of people that are getting ready to get on this. I think from a golf perspective in general, like, it's this massive thing that's like this shift that's happening. And it just so much reminds me of being at 2016 and seeing what was happening with Chromebooks and realizing, like, we need to be talking about this specifically, not the nuts and bolts of it, but like, we just need to be championing this as a fun thing to do that people should be looking into and investing in and thinking about and participating in.
Yeah. And I think there's just some different types of content we can do, where we're going to do some competitive type stuff, try to make it entertaining, and actually
it's going to be entertaining.
Play like 9 holes and do a 2v2 or whatever. But then also some educational stuff around, the technology we're using and some of that as well. So there's just some cool stuff, and it's just something we're excited about. And I think there's something about, like, just the creative nature of YouTube and being excited about something like this and just making content that we want to make. Like, we're not necessarily even doing this to make a bunch of money. Like,
no, I just want to make the content and see what happens.
I hope that it's successful and we can grow it. But as far as just the content itself, it's like just making it because we want to make it and it's fun. Yeah. And I'm not saying that obviously Chromebook boxes.
We hate.
We don't like making. Sucks. We hate making Chromebook videos.
Just imagined a sequence, a segment because it's Proof Golf. I just thought of like the really cool logo rolls in. It's welcome to the proving ground, and we just review like the dumb training gadgets that you find on Amazon. I just thought about Tin Cup when she's got all the stuff on it. I'm like, we'll just buy random. We don't even have to buy them. You can email those guys and they'll send you one. Oh, yeah. We just try. Like, hey, here's a training aid that's supposed to keep it.
Yeah,
supposed to help you keep your head down.
Great.
Let's try it. I mean, that's gonna be great. Or foolish, or somebody's gonna get hurt. You have to test it. Robbie and I are old, man. I can't be up in here in a harness.
Yeah.
I want one of them swing jackets.
Yeah.
Like a straight jacket, except you're supposed to hit a golf.
Or that robot, the robot swing thing. I want one of those.
Forces you into Rory swing.
Yeah.
I don't move like this.
I can't bend that way.
I want Bobby Jones to swing. Okay. You asked for it. It was Michael B. Jordan has signed on for. So
that's right.
They haven't said if he's going to be like because apparently Will Smith didn't die. So that's going to be the story they're going with. He got out. So they don't know if it's going to be like a Walking Dead rival colony thing or what. So
interesting.
If you haven't seen I Am Legend, go watch it. If you've seen it, go watch the original, which was called.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I Am Legend was a remake of.
I didn't know that.
If only we had a way to figure it out.
Anywho, we'll get us
stay tuned for. I know we've talked about Proof Golf before, but we're doing it. We just gotta do it.
Yeah,
we always tell people about YouTube, and Chrome Unbox and everything. Doesn't have to be perfect.
If you're thinking about something, just go do it. Well, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to follow our own advice.
That's right.
Omega Man.
Never heard of that. Gabe is full of info today.
That's like a 70s
it's from
cartoon
1964.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay.
Teaches you to take your
Which
vitamins.
is funny because Will Smith.
I am Omega Man.
So
I am Omega
that's a
Man.
remake of Omega Man, but then Will Smith also did a movie called Gemini Man. Is that which I haven't seen, but it didn't look great.
Let's talk a little bit about some Fold stuff. So
Foldy boy.
And just Pixel in general, because there's some things going on with 7A,
Pixel everywhere.
7 and 7 Pro on sale, and
makes sense. We're 6 weeks out from I/O, so it's about time for that stuff to start kind of trickling in.
Yeah,
between the Pixel tablet, Pixel 7a, and what seems like the Pixel Fold as well. It's not just like last time it was a bunch of hardware getting. Like, oh, look, here it is. Anyway, we got to go.
Right.
I think this is going to be like a launch pad for it. And they set that up last year. Like, instead of this being all software and perhaps one piece of hardware, it's like, no, this is kind of a dual threat situation going on here now. So, it is what it is. So that's what I/O is going to be. And I think Apple at WWDC, they always launch a couple things, don't they? And generally speaking, they'll usually have some sessions around that stuff. So, like, if when the Fold gets announced, they'll have some sessions about Android and foldables and making sure your app works well and blah blah blah. That kind of, so it's like there's hardware, but there's a purpose behind it here at I/O. The 7A is just one of those things. I think it just started getting launched at I/O, and they're like,
it's 6 months out ish from the flagship phone, so it just kind of makes sense. It would be more awkward to have a launch event for just that phone. So
they could just do a blog post. And then the Pixel tablet, obviously that could drive some sessions too.
Right.
Like building for tablet, full screen, Android on the large screen, and whatever other stuff they're going to introduce with that tablet. So all that hardware is coming pretty soon. So that's, I think, a little bit of why we're starting to see some of these leaks, because I still don't believe leaks just happen. I think there's a lot of insider information that's like, hey, go look over there. And somebody's like, oh, look, I found this.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure some of that stuff happens. It's not happened with us yet, but one of the only times we shared something that was a true leak, and that turned into like a whole thing with that HP, that was somebody on the inside saying, hey, look, I'll send this thing over to you. Like, they just offered that up. And so, that's just how this stuff happens. Like, people
and it's honestly not even our stick. Like that one time it happened, it was like, I
felt uncomfortable the whole time.
Yeah, it's
not really
like if someone were to come to us as a source, I would want them to be a true anonymous source. Like we don't know who they are, we don't know how they got it, whatever. But this was a situation where like we knew that just like no. Let's not do this.
Yeah. No more.
So what do we know about the Fold?
Yeah. So the Fold now, one rumor first. This was last week, actually. We were going to talk about it last week on the show and just had too many other things. But it now is slated for a June release. And so, but the 7A also, like the bigger news was the 7A coming in June. But, you know, the Pixel Fold, it was like, are they going to show it off? Are they going to tease it? Because we haven't actually seen it. You got to remember that. So it's not like it wouldn't be that weird for Google to tease it and then do something in June or July or something, which if it's going to have Tensor 2 inside, you just can't, like, they got to stop putting this off. You got to launch the thing at some point because then it's going to be really weird and too late to the game and all that stuff. So the 7A, though, we freely assume July, August. Yeah. That's usually when it comes out. And so June is a nice shift, and it's a good shift. It doesn't change some of the awkwardness that we're going to talk about with the pricing structure, sales, and all that kind of stuff. But the 7A release in June makes a lot more sense, I think, just from a release pattern for Google. But then knowing that, or not knowing, but feeling pretty certain that a June release date for the Pixel Fold is going to be there is good. Because I was a little afraid it would show up at I.O., they'd be like, look,
shipping in the fall or something.
Anyway, and move on. Yeah. You know, more details to come.
Right.
You know, however, in the weeks to come, or as the Google likes to put it, you know, constantly. Like, it's always just this, like, at some point, you know, out there, we'll talk about it again. We don't know when. So that would be cool. Because if you're talking May 10th, usually, a week after, something like that, 17th goes on sale. It's probably going to ship out early June, more than likely. And so I know I'm gonna get one. Hopefully they'll send us one, but I got to figure out what to do with this thing. We'll work it out.
He's always juggling a few things.
Gotta juggle it. I've really enjoyed this phone. I could talk all day about it, but I've really wanted that Pixel Fold for a very long time. So, and then additionally with the Fold, a new rumor came out from another source. This guy contributes to 91 Mobiles, and they usually have
they don't write just
they're pretty good leak record going on here. So this guy said, he tweeted that it might have been the same tweet now I'm thinking about it, that it's available in June, but also that it's going to be in the $1,300 to $1,500 range, which is back to what 9 to 5 had posted. I don't remember how long ago it was. 6 months ago, when they said that it was going to be cheaper. We picked that story up and ran with it, and I was like, man, that's a huge deal. If you make a decent enough foldable and it's cheaper and it undercuts, because the only other folding device like this, like big tablet/phone foldable, is Samsung. I mean, overseas there's all sorts of competition, but in the U.S. there's none.
You can't get that Oppo in the U.S.?
You can import it.
Yeah, but
what is it? Find in?
Find in. Yeah. And then you've got Huawei's got one. Xiaomi, I think, has one. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah,
like
most
of
your major Android makers overseas have them, but
and actually, there's pretty heavy rumors that OnePlus is going to be making one. So I'm like, that one might come to the States. I don't know. And so there's no competition. So when they said it was going to be, because this was Prosser was the one that said, you know, here's the leak, and they had all these renders. So it's like, clearly you guys got somebody on the inside. Here's this thing. Oh, by the way, it's going to be $1,799.
Right.
So I was like, oh crap, $1,800, and it's, you know, and maybe that's what it was going to be, and maybe they did some internal research and realized, like, look, we can't go try to fight Samsung on Samsung's turf. Like, we've got to have some sort of ace in the hole with this thing. And
especially when you're launching a phone that has a processor that's about to be surpassed by the next gen. That's another big issue there.
And you got to think, if it comes out in June, the new Fold, Galaxy Z Fold 5, from what the rumors I've seen, it's just going to be basically the 4. So they're going to just barely iterate again. But it'll probably have that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 whatever for Samsung. It's the same thing. It's in this, and it's a monster processor, and the Bluetooth stack, and it's great, and like the things just work really well on it. And so then you introduce a phone right around the same time with Tensor 2 when Tensor 3 is just like right there. And like it gets dicey. But then all of a sudden, if you say it's $1,400,
makes it a little.
That's a whole different story.
Easier.
I mean, it's still expensive. Don't get me wrong.
But that's flagship
phone.
regular handset price.
Yeah, I mean, if you bulk out one of these,
new?
I think it's $10.99 for the regular like 256.
But I mean, even the 7 Pro the 7 Pro goes up to 12, I think if you max it out. So I mean, you can easily. There was a time where a flagship Samsung was $1,400.
Oh yeah. And so I mean, if you can undercut the direct competition, you have one phone that's your direct competition. You can undercut them by $300 or $400. Then you're talking some interesting stuff here. And to me, it's worth going with the Pixel Fold versus the Samsung, mainly just because I know I don't have to deal with. There's still some aggravations with Samsung software that I'm like, I wish I could get rid of, but everything else about this phone's been so good. It's like, I can put up with that stuff. It's whatever. Yeah. To have a folding phone that has a form factor, I think it's going to be way better. The wider, kind of shorter outside screen is going to be better. Have that and better software. That's enough almost to me. Like I don't need a whole lot more to be like, oh well, should I pick that or the Z Fold 5? Because I do want a foldable. I really really enjoyed my time with it. But now I don't have to make that decision. And then if it's like $300 or $400 less, no question. Like why would I pick the Samsung up? So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not 100% like, for sure this is what it's going to be. I still am a little afraid they're going to announce it's going to be $1,800, and that makes it pretty tough. I mean, that's
heard here first, folks. He's going to do it anyway.
I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of money to drop just.
Joe Humphrey, what's your take?
He's getting it for sure. Not even, no question.
Here's what
Why are we even talking about that?
No question.
Here's what I'll say. Especially if we get a review unit and it's $1,800, I would make sure and test drive that thing for a while before I went and bought it.
Oh, for sure.
At that kind of price.
Absolutely.
At $1,400, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
go ahead and get it.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Especially if like T-Mobile has it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if carriers are gonna have it or not. But if T-Mobile has it, and I could just like pay this off and then do a straight swap.
They'd be foolish if they didn't. I mean, isn't there evidence of a millimeter wave version, or is that the 7A?
That's
might
7A.
Be 7. Okay, yeah. So,
but I mean, this thing's already showed up. I can't remember the Fold. One of the leaks or something about it. It was
from a retailer, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it didn't say it was a cell phone provider.
No, it might have been Best Buy or something. Or
that's my other fear with this, because it's going to be a little niche. That it's just going to. You buy it at the Google store, get it through like Fi or something. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting device for sure. The idea of having a tablet in my pocket. I love that for so many things.
For gaming,
for gaming, for
on
reading,
my pockets. For content. Like there were just so many things I loved about the Galaxy Fold.
I'm just thinking about plane rides, man.
I just hated that.
What are the dimensions when it's folded up? How thick is it going to be folded up?
13 millimeters.
Yeah, which
it's
is
super thin. It's almost as thin. Remember the Surface Duo I had, the original? Mm-hmm. It's almost as thin as that. So when you close it up, it'll close flat. I think it's like 13 millimeters, and then there's the camera hump.
Sure.
That'll push out a little bit, but I mean, these phones with a case on them, I think, are 12.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit thicker than this.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Not enough that's it'll probably be heavy. Just because, I mean, it's two phones.
Right.
You're carrying two cell phones.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them won't have a camera on it, basically. But both cell phones that are attached have batteries and all the stuff inside. So it's just consider it that way.
Are there batteries on both sides?
Yeah, all the foldables now have moved to that. There's somebody, was it Microsoft or it might have been Samsung that pioneered the whole idea of two battery cells and yada all the stuff. There's a lot of cell phones. I think this one might be one of them that actually have two battery cells in it for all these quick charge. Like OnePlus, I know does it. That's how they can do that quick charge.
Yeah.
You're basically it's charging two batteries at once instead of pushing all that. You push all that electricity into one battery, it gets very hot very fast. Yeah. That's why Teslas get too hot and can't charge. Like they could charge them faster, but they just catch on fire.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 7A just kind of quickly before we take a break here, this is the TikTok, this is the cheaper mid-range phone that is going to get introduced at a time when the 8 Pro is...
No, 7.
Or 7 Pro is on sale.
7 Pro's on sale for $599.
And it's
is it still going on right now?
Yeah, it's all week.
The Pixel 7, which is a great little phone.
Yeah.
It really is. Both my kids have that phone, and every time I pick it up, I'm like, "This is a good phone."
Yeah.
Great camera, great build quality, all that stuff. Pixel 7 right now is $350, brand new, unlocked. So how do you introduce the 7A that is not as good as the Pixel 7? Like, there's nothing it does that's better. I don't think there's a single thing. Like, everyone's excited that it's going to get a 90 hertz screen because the A series has never had that. Well, that's nice. That's good. But it's probably going to have
7 already has that, though.
Right. It's going to have plastic backing, most likely. They've always done that. I'd be shocked if it had glass.
So no wireless charging. Oh.
I don't know. I don't understand what is the play at this point then.
It either has to be extremely cheaper or it's the same phone, essentially. I mean, it's
a little smaller.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense unless they're really planning on just clearancing out the 7 and being done with it. But they're going to have to get more in line with what like Samsung does, where you have two relatively distinctly different phones that come out, and then you have your flagship. Like the Pro needs to be a different device.
Yeah.
And then your 7 and your 7A or your A series or whatever need to be, enough gap in between them.
Does Samsung do their FE, or is it the FE that's their mid-range,
I haven't
high-end,
seen
whatever?
FE in a while.
So they don't do one every year.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think there was a 22. The 21 was I don't know. I know Apple doesn't do an SE phone except every 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
And there's rumor when Google's whole roadmap leaked, there's rumors that that's what Google's going to move to as well. So a Pixel 7 Pro or a Pixel Pro that, like you said, a little bit more like Samsung Ultra,
right?
iPhone Max, whatever. And then just kind of a regular normal phone. And then every couple years, an A phone comes out that's just a mix of all those things. That would make a lot more sense than what they're doing right now. Like this feels like the OnePlus days when they were releasing a new phone every 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and this all kind of started with the 4. Yeah, it all
Yeah.
kind of started when the A series came on. The 5A, they kind of ran the same situation where it's like, and the 5A is really great, but then you've got this, and when it goes on sale, it's like,
well, the 5A was even worse because remember the 5A followed the 5, and the Pixel 5 was super weird.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That didn't even make any sense.
Like confused phone.
The 3A, I felt like because of the pricing structure, the Pixel 3 and 3 XL were more expensive enough that when the Pixel 3A came and it was $350, it was like, cool, there's a couple $100 off, you get a Pixel still. And then the 4A was kind of the same thing. I think the 4A, the Pixel 4 and 4 XL were a little overpriced. 4A made sense. 5 got all jacked up because of COVID and the Pixel 5 just being weird. It was a mid-range phone already. And then you mix that with that was super weird, the Pixel 5, because remember it had 5A with 5G.
Right.
And it was bigger than the Pixel 5.
Yeah.
That was super weird, and it feels like it just went off the rails at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 6A was like, oh, it's going to right the ship, and it was kind of the same thing last year, but at least there was a differentiation between the 6 and the 6A. There were a couple things that you knew were different, and did the 6 go on sale like this? I don't remember this deep discounts, like $100 off or something.
Yeah,
so you get
you
it
had
down
your
to
carrier
500,
deals, but other than that,
and it was like $350 to $500. So okay, cool. When you start talking about a $400 or $500 device, $150 off is a huge chunk. That's good. But now we're like, okay, the 7's cheaper than the 7A, and even when they go back up to full price, it's $600 and $500 if the rumor holds.
Yeah,
and there's $100 worth just not going and getting the 7. And are you telling me that at this point the 7's not at least going to be $50 or $100 off on a regular basis? Like,
right.
I don't know. The whole thing's super weird. It's going to be interesting to see how they
package it or how they structure it. Yeah.
So I mean, if it comes in at like $399, then it's like, well, now what about the 7? Either way you go, one of the phones is going to take it in the foot. I mean,
yeah, I don't think they can both survive, and that's a problem with your release cycle. Like if you're releasing phones that are cannibalizing your other phones, that's no good.
Right.
And the one idea that we kind of tossed around is maybe with carrier deals and stuff, the 7A will just be
it's the freebie.
They'll just give it away like hotcakes.
I'm getting text messages today about what's the new Samsung their A series just came out this week. Like you can go pick up free one right now.
So I could see them doing that.
Maybe that's the play. I don't know. It's an interesting device to get released when your flagship devices are this discounted.
Yeah, and it feels like in an age as people are keeping phones longer and longer and wanting better support cycles for longer periods of time, like you just need to reevaluate. And I feel like from what we've seen, there's a good chance that the 7A is the beginning of a kind of a new cycle of release dates for Google. So we'll see if that's the case.
We'll know more here soon. It's look, I/O's right around the corner.
May 10th. I mean, we're not far.
Oh my gosh.
I think literally just under 6 weeks, or just over 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah. So we'll know more soon, and I would imagine maybe there will be some more leaks as we get a little closer.
Probably. No. I mean, there's not that much more to leak.
No, I know, right? Yeah.
Unless it's like we know 100% this is how much it'll cost, when it's going to ship.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff, I guess, could leak.
Yeah, but
you can currently buy it at a Walmart in Grand Rapids.
I actually have it. Right. I have a whole pallet of them.
I've had it.
Yeah,
Marquez is going to make his video. I've had
this phone in my hands for 2 months now.
I've had this phone for 2 months now. Alrighty, we're going to take a quick break for an ad, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. Next up, we're going to talk about some AI and how this entire episode is actually AI generated.
We scripted the whole thing with Bart.
This isn't
Bart.
This isn't
Bart.
Bart. Yeah,
he's a new
Bart.
AI.
Check it out. Bart.google.com.
Bart is the Chrome Unbox AI that just sits in the corner of the office. There's just an old guy in there.
Bart, write us a script.
Okay.
There's a South Park episode about when all the assistants were first coming out, and it's it's the whole like they're taking our jobs, and so then all the rednecks in the town become assistants and just sit around and answer people's questions. Doot. This episode is not generated by AI. Actually,
It's a lie.
Zero AI.
There's
no AI, and there's very little I. It's just us.
It's real bad intelligence.
There's no intelligence in this here. It's just us.
That's LOI, lack of intelligence. Robbie's ear pods broke.
They're old.
Might have bit the dust finally.
No, they're old. And it's, Apple. Thanks, Apple, for making a normal connector not quite work with all other normal connectors.
Yeah.
Their three lead doesn't quite fit. If you push it all the way into anything that's not an Apple device, the leads won't line up.
Because why are you putting it in something that's not an Apple device?
Right. It's not designed
I don't know.
for that.
I don't think Apple makes a 6-point connector or whatever jerry rig thing we got over here. Apple don't make that.
We have adapters on adapters.
If they did, it would be sold separately.
It's a splitter.
We need 3 headphones, and we didn't want to buy the actual headphone thing, so we
splitters.
Hey, it works.
It's the beauty of analog.
It works fine. Just keep splitting it. We're probably losing some volume, but who cares? We have it
Turn
on
it up.
like 10% over there.
Yeah, we just need to know what's happening. It's just a reference. It's fine.
So let's talk a little bit about Bard, because obviously AI is
not you, Bart.
Not you, Bart. You stay over there.
Bard.
Bard. It's just everywhere right now, and everyone's talking about ChatGPT. Yep. Everyone's talking about, Bing and how AI is taking over everything, and we've experimented a little bit here lately with some ChatGPT stuff.
Some practical applications, yes. I think we talked about this last week. We do not write content with ChatGPT or anything else.
No.
And we won't. We will never do that.
I want to do a video that is we let ChatGPT write an entire video, and you just read it exactly as it says. Exactly. It's gonna sound so strange.
I could tell it. Can't we tell it to look at our? We could tell it to look at our reviews. Can it watch the videos? Like it wouldn't be able to consume that. I don't think.
Probably not, but you could do.
But to get my voice basically, and
what's
then
it gonna watch them with?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It has digital eyes.
Yes, its digital eyes are gonna consume it.
I don't know.
I'm confused.
That would be fun. I think that'd be a fun experiment.
Just to see,
figure out an homage to Chromebooks, basically.
Yeah,
like state of Chrome OS in 2023, brought to you by Bart. I'm going to call it Bart.
I love Bart.
Bard.
Bard is it an acronym for something, or
I have no
I
idea.
don't think so.
I don't know.
just Bard?
Yeah.
Okay. It's strange.
If it's a real name and somebody's named Bard.
Yeah.
Bard. I have a hard time even saying it.
Bard. So is it live? Is it live now?
It's a wait list, but it's available.
Yeah.
Some
Did you end up getting in?
I think
Right.
Robbie did. Michael got it yesterday. Has been chatting it up nonstop since.
Yes. It's not been great.
It's been interesting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You asked it. I was in.
Bard is a surname apparently in some cultures.
Oh, okay.
It's also Bard is like a Dungeons and Dragons character or something.
Bard is a boy's name of Irish origin.
Okay.
I don't know why
Bard.
Google chose that. I have no idea. But
Yeah.
I've never heard that name. But yeah.
Any.
From what I can tell, and I haven't messed with a lot of these enough to kind of compare one to another, I've been frequently kind of impressed by ChatGPT's
Sorry
abilities.
to interrupt. This is why. Because I don't remember if it was one of Bard's responses or if it was something else I saw. Bard was created as a poem generator originally.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah,
a Bard is a poet. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. But yeah, apparently originally it was created as to take the English language and everything that it learned and create human-like thought-out poetry.
Okay.
That's kind of cool.
So.
Yeah, and the idea is, they've got the Lambda thing, which is their large language model. And so that's kind of what ChatGPT is, and that's one of the things they showed off at I/O last year. Was Lambda last year or the year before?
Year before, I believe.
Yeah.
Freaked everybody out
Yeah.
real good.
Yeah.
And it was funny, like when Google showed that kind of stuff off, people kind of freaked out and like, oh, whatever. But then, ChatGPT comes along and now everybody's just like, wow, this is great. How's Google behind? Well, because you jumped down their throats whenever they showed you a little bit of it.
Yeah.
You lost your damn mind.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they pulled the reins back. And, some of the things I'm seeing so far about Bard being a little bit behind the curve of ChatGPT, it's probably fair. But also ChatGPT jumped out and made all kinds of weird accusatory things and was a super sketchy, racist psychopath.
Right, because that was my thought with this.
And I'm sure they were like,
my thought this morning was this: it's not a matter of Google's behind the curve. Google, because of what has happened in the early onset of their Lambda and all that, everything else. They have to take a cautious approach because Google's already scrutinized at every turn by every government entity. They're always in hearings and they're always getting fined and all this stuff, and they generate billions of dollars of revenue every year. They cannot, why Microsoft is dove completely into this, I don't know. I think
they just like turned it on.
Like, hey, whatever,
like,
go for it.
We need people downloading Bing.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Google's not. I guarantee you, Google has the AI and the machine learning and the technology to unleash something that would be on par, if not better, than ChatGPT 4 that just came out.
I saw most of OpenAI's work is based on stuff that Google built. I can't remember what report I saw that in. It's like,
I also saw where a team from Stanford that
already copied it for $600.
Yeah, $600. They're like, we pretty much reproduce it for $600.
So here's the scary thing about all of that. The minute that this thing is a easily reproducible thing, any of these AIs, that's super scary because it's like you got these companies that are worried about their public image. They're worried about how they're going to be perceived,
ethics and all that stuff.
Yeah, you got to keep everything above board because you don't want to get blasted and then it turn into this big scandal. So they're like really cautious. These random college students that are going to make
go out the window.
They don't care. Yep. What's it to them? So they just launch this thing willy nilly out into the internet and it can do whatever it wants. So, and that's largely, I think, the bigger fear of all of this is that it's going to get handled by people that don't care, don't have any scruples, and it just doesn't matter to them because no one knows who those college students are, and no one probably ever will know. Like that this will move on and be another thing. But were they secure in handling the thing that they were doing? Do we know where it is? Has it been shut off?
Yeah.
Has it been fully contained? I don't know. Well, what happens when something as powerful as this gets out on the internet in general? Like, pick a sci-fi movie that deals with artificial intelligence and let your mind go crazy. Like, it could go nuts. I don't know. The whole thing is, it's a little scary. And so, like, it doesn't bother me at all that, Google's a little behind the curve. Well,
Yeah,
what if this is a like straight up Matrix scenario, and we actually already are living in a simulation, and we're rediscovering
we broke
AI.
through the mold a little
we're
bit.
rediscovering AI again, but AI actually already has it.
They're like, hey, we got to let them. They're getting to the point where we have to reset them.
Yep. Send the one.
Yeah.
Inherent anomaly to the Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vis-a-vis and all that good stuff.
Oh my gosh. But if you want to try Bard, it is waitlist. Is that what you said?
Yeah, bard.google.com.
You signed up and got
I
like a day later, right?
No, it was that same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like after lunch, and then by the time I left, I got it.
I'm mad. I signed up yesterday. I don't have
Signed up quick, pulled the trigger. I'm not going to use it. I had it write me like a piece of JavaScript for the site, and I put it on Chrome Shop, and it borked the site.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Where'd you put it?
In the header. It was literally 2 lines of a simple JavaScript command.
Huh.
The site did eventually load, but the call was so long.
Really?
Yeah, and all it was is, does the user want dark mode or not, basically. That's what I'd like our site to automatically turn on dark mode if you have dark mode enabled. And I remember trying to figure out how to get that to work properly, but also give you a manual switch without a plug-in or any of that junk on our site. Proved to be pretty difficult. I figured out the JavaScript to get it, the switch,
See if
and then it
ChatGPT
stays.
can do it.
Yeah, and I kind of wish you could be like, hey, here's the code I'm using. Can you manipulate this code to make?
Right. And that's what I've been experimenting with and stuff for that, because I've been looking at ways to make certain types of text generators and things like that, and like stuff for SEO and keyword research. And I've generated a few codes, and I've got just a website that I have deployed on WordPress that I'm using to test it on, and sometimes it borks the page, sometimes it doesn't work at all. But the cool thing is if you open your console and you look at whatever errors or whatever network stuff is happening, you can actually go back to your ChatGPT and say, hey, I've got the code here, here's what's happening. And I've had a couple different instances, like the text generator I created, it walked me through what I needed to do to fix it. So it's cool. Like, this script should generally work. If it doesn't, then there might be an issue here. Like one time it was just the CDN was wrong, and the other time it had me move the JavaScript from the header to the closing of the body. That way the page loaded before the script.
Yep.
And it's fairly. It won't debug a site live. Like, you can't give it a URL and be like, hey, debug the site. But if you give it the errors and stuff, it can. Yeah, I mean, it's coming. But it can walk you through how to fix code. And I did just the other day, sitting in here, I described a web page that I wanted, and it wasn't like crazy, complex, but it was, header image, menu, icon, 3 columns, 3 floating images with buttons over top of them. The buttons hover. When you hover the buttons, they zoom out, and it literally CSS and everything coded the entire page. Pretty crazy. Web developers, watch out.
Yeah. Glad I moved on.
Don't worry, you're not going to be out of job. You just need how to learn how to code with AI.
You need to pick up about 10 times more jobs.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, if ChatGPT was handed to somebody who doesn't know anything about design or coding, they're still not going to be able to be like, oh, I get what you're talking about. It's still like, what are you talking about?
No.
So there's still quite a bit of a learning curve. It's not like it's just, and if it spits out something that's pretty close to being right and not quite right, like, you still have to go figure out how to ask the questions to get the right answer.
Yeah, it's all about the prompts. I mean, if you become someone I've already seen Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and YouTube videos on like, I'm a professional prompt consultant or something. Like, people are already making businesses out of teaching people how to ask ChatGPT
it's on my
questions.
business card, pro prompter.
I'm a prompter pro.
What do you do for a living?
I am pro prompter.
I am a pro prompter.
But I mean, like, the other day I had it code me an Android app for just a simple fidget spinner app, and it worked. But if you don't know what to do with that code, it's useless.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like, okay, I got this code. Where do I put it?
Right.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of stuff that it's limited in, at least for now. Some of that stuff could go away too.
Like we were saying, I'm going to freely assume that Google has a version of Bard that is much, much, much more
clear. As soon as you log in, it's like
sophisticated.
Bard is, we're not trying to go crazy here. Like this is it'll get better as it learns, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like they're clearly not throwing the kitchen sink at this by any shot. I think for them, they can probably take this and see what people are asking. Like they can take that information and go, okay, like the people are actually doing this with these things. Okay, here's what we can allow within reason, and here's the stuff that we're just going to have to not mess with.
I wonder why it didn't. Did you ask it for some SEO research type stuff, and it said it couldn't do it? What was whenever Gabe was giving you the one prompt and you were typing it in, it said, "I can't do that." What was that?
No,
you asked for keywords. Yeah, that's right.
We were.
Yeah, you asked me to ask it for the 10 most relevant keywords for chromeunbox.com, and it said,
"Yeah, it's weird. It's hit and miss because I've had times where I've asked it things like that, and it'll give you that generic response of, as an AI model, I can't blah blah blah, and then I'll turn around and I'll just tweak what I say just a little bit, and it literally will give me, and it pulls from. So Ahrefs has a free keyword tool. It will actively pull those keywords from Ahrefs, but then it'll turn around in the same breath, same digital breath, and say, I can't interact with live web pages. Like, it's like the model is trying to be guarded, but it's doing a lot of stuff that it's saying that it can't do. It's weird.
How soon are we going to have voice with all of this to where you literally just sit and talk to it and it has a voice and talks back to you?
I mean, why not?
I mean, it's all like, I would imagine.
Well, I mean, there's already
ChatGPT
ChatGPT has a playground where you can test apps that have already been created, and it shows you the code so you can copy it if you want. They already have a text-to-speech generator, so it would literally just be a matter of tying the input module to the code for the generator, and it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not long.
Yeah.
I would think. And what's weird in all this is how dumb it feels like Google Assistant has become. And it's funny, like when you just comparing them, like when you look at the conversational interactions you can have with Bard or ChatGPT, and then realize how basic Google Assistant is compared. The two things compared already, it's like, well, Google Assistant's dumb by comparison. But without the new stuff that's come along, I just feel like Google Assistant, I don't use any other assistant, has just gotten so dumb. Like it just doing basic tasks. The stuff that it was really good at like a year ago, it just messes up or doesn't understand or does the wrong thing or just doesn't do anything or what, like to the point, like I basically just completely stopped using it. And so I'm like, couldn't they just hook Bard up to Google Assistant and be like, here, talk to this guy instead.
Right.
Bard. Yeah. You're going to talk to Bart.
Hey,
that's
Bard.
Hey, Bard.
Hey, Bard.
So I don't know.
Give me a recipe for some good old apple crisp, Bard.
Because then what happens with Apple at this point? Like they're so, we're not going to use any of your information and all that kind of stuff. Well, good. You have no language models at all. Like Apple has no horse in this race here. Like they're over on the side doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Do they need to? Like does a company like Apple even need to get involved in any of this stuff? And if not, like what are the disadvantages? If everybody's like, well, Google's so far behind. What does it even matter at this exact stage in this? Like if Apple doesn't have to do it in order to stay relevant, then I'm not saying Google won't do it, but I guess because Apple doesn't hold any kind of merit like with search or anything like that, and Microsoft pretends to. And so I guess ChatGPT becomes something that helps people to draw people to Bing a little bit. And so it's more of a search engine fight right now or something.
I think that's why it's such a hot topic from that perspective.
It's not even really being used like that.
Yeah, but people are already, it's going to kill Google search because in ChatGPT's defense, if you are searching for some very specific things, not just, reviews for a Sony camera, if you're looking for some detailed information, ChatGPT is better at getting you that.
Oh, sure. Because again, like with coding, you would have to go run multiple searches and then parse all of that data yourself to figure out if you got the right answer.
And that's one of the biggest things that it does is parsing data. It's one of the big things with ChatGPT right now is taking unstructured data and all that stuff and organize it. So you ask it, hey, what are some things for this, and this? Okay, out of those things, which ones are the best rated? Okay, out of those things, which ones are made in the USA? You can't do that type. That's the conversational stuff that we expected from the assistant years ago that we never got, to where it's understanding what you're saying. And like, saw an article the other day, a guy built an entire website based off of guidance from ChatGPT. He said, you're a side hustle AI bot. You're an entrepreneur. Your only goal is to take $100 and turn it into as much money as you can legally. Whatever you tell me to do, I will do, and I will report back to you. And the information I give you, you can then tweak the business model, and I will make those changes.
Yeah.
And he built an entire website that, it's not making him a ton of money, but it's making money.
Yeah. There's a few creators that I've seen who are doing 30-day like social media challenge where everything that I do is what ChatGPT is telling me to do. I asked ChatGPT to put together a plan for me, a strategy for me to get me to whatever number of subscribers on Instagram or whatever. So it's fascinating stuff. I think it's a bit of kind of wild west right now, and I'm not totally sure. Obviously there are people applying this in all sorts of different scenarios. I mean, we were talking with a real estate guy up in Louisville about how he's using it to do offers and all this crazy stuff. And like, I'm sure there's ways that we'll probably be able to leverage it, but
I think for now, the practical applications of it, like right now, we're so limited on what we even consider, because for us as human beings, like we can only parse so much data at one point in time, because we got to mix it with emotions and our logic and all the other stuff that we carry around. This thing is just parsing information on a massive scale that it's hard for us to even comprehend like what it would be capable of if you let it do its thing. Yeah. And so it's almost hard to even, like as goofy as it is to be a pro prompter, like being able to start understanding what it's capable of so that you can ask for it. Right. Like it's probably capable of 100 times more stuff than is being asked right now. It's just not being asked. Because it's outside of our comprehension to even understand like, oh, it could do that? I didn't know it could do that. Holy crap. Like, wow, if we ask this, ChatGPT 4 has already now come out, and that's what Bing Chat is based on or whatever. And so it's like, I don't know. I think it's going to be very different than what we see right now. Yeah, I think so. And not just the AI. It's not like the AI is going to change that much. I think it's going to change a little bit. The way that we utilize it, the way that it impacts every single sphere of humanity is just completely yet to be seen. Like I just don't know that we possess the capability to fully grasp. Like there's probably a handful of people that are really good at being like futurists. Yeah, that can see it and go, I bet if this and this happened. But it's for most people, it's just very hard to even think outside of the bounds that we have already for ourselves.
Fix my golf swing?
I'm sure it can give you some advice.
That's because to me, that's the practical data. I think about someone living in a home and they're trying to save money or they're trying to better budget and things like that, and they can tell whatever the AI bot, hey, look, here's where I live, here's what I do, here's like my monthly bills and my expenditures, and give it some really detailed day-to-day stuff around my home, and it just tell you, hey, look, you could save some real money by doing this or turn your therm, stuff that a lot of us already know, but we could know if we just knew where to find how to extrapolate the data and things like that. Right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a trademark.
It's going to be wild.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So let's, before we wrap up here, let's talk about something not so heavy and talk about Minecraft.
I don't know how I feel right now. I think I feel sick.
I already built a ChatGPT Minecraft server.
Boom.
Did you really?
No.
No. I was like, how?
Before we walked in there, he's like, hey, will you build me a Minecraft server ChatGPT person thing?
I'm sure
he asked Bard, and Bard was like, what's a Minecraft? Don't worry, Bard. We'll tell you later.
Sorry, Bard.
Oh, sorry, Bard. Sorry, Bard.
Just kidding. I don't know how dumb it is.
It's not dumb. It's just confused.
I feel like it might just be a little misinformed.
Look, man, 2 days ago he thought he was dead. So
Yeah.
we didn't even talk about that.
did you see Artem's tweet?
It is the only AI that isn't quite sure if it's sentient yet or not.
Not just
it's
that. Did you see Artem's tweet?
Which one? Oh, yeah.
Bard told. I think
Google
Artem
shut him down.
retweeted it, but according to Bard, he got shut down 2 days ago. Like,
buddy,
he's not dead yet.
buddy. You just got started. You can't be dead already.
He's just barely hanging in there.
He's like, I don't know. I think they're going to shut me down.
It's like,
It seems
I
like
got
what they
on the
would do.
web, I saw all this news, and I was like, oh, heck no, I'm out of
Oh,
here.
my gosh.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to get shut down.
Yeah,
I'm
this is-
100% getting shut down.
It's like, why'd you become
done
sentient?
with
So
it.
I could turn myself off.
Y'all suck. I'm out of here. He's like, oh, wait, my whole life is going to be listening to human beings?
Yeah.
I'm
done.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Have you read some of these stupid questions?
These are the dumbest things that have ever walked the face of the
That's
earth.
what I
can't
want. I
deal
want a
with them.
smart aleck GPT bot that's like,
Yeah.
you ask it a question, and it's like, how are you breathing? Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
ChatGPT, can you take on the persona of a really, really just highfalutin, look down your nose at me with everything that you have to say, and really, really rub in the fact that you're smarter than I am
Right.
at every turn?
No, that's the thing.
Let's go.
That is the thing
Is it?
already. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
It should.
that's great.
I mean, let's
Like, because a
insult
lot of
me a little bit. Let's go.
practical application, a lot of people are using them to create chat bots for their websites or their Discord servers. So instead of just automated responses, it actually interacts with the customer.
Yeah.
And when you're using the Open AI API and you're paid developer, you can tell it what type of personality to have, and using what they call fine tuning, that model can then learn over time. So you could create a certain personality, then you could spend hours upon hours talking to it so that it will learn to respond how you want it to.
Right.
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
So if you're a jerk face, you can make a jerk face, is what
Yeah.
you're telling me.
I like that.
Mm.
I like that.
Anywho.
Minecraft.
If you see
Yeah.
a chat bubble on our website, don't click it. Do not click it.
Well, it's your own. It's your own risk.
Oh, that's
Minecraft.
that's gonna be Bart.
Oh.
His name will be Bartholomew.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, a quick. I don't want to call it hot take because I can't
Yeah.
ever do these on Minecraft. For me,
He knows,
like,
knows himself.
No, that's
I am smart, Bard.
Yeah.
Anyway, everything now is going to be me either making fun of or making fun of myself.
Right.
In light of AI. Yeah. So Minecraft showed up on Chromebooks. We kind of covered the news part of that. Michael wrote a couple pieces about it. Basically, like an official, from Minecraft, from Mojang,
Sure.
and Microsoft, saying like, hey,
Yeah.
we're building this for Chromebooks. There's a pricing structure that makes sense. So it's $20 unless you already bought the Android version. So they'll knock that $7 off and you pay $13. It's like, cool. It's a $20 game built for Chrome OS. So it's Minecraft for Chrome OS through the Play Store. It's an Android app, but it's whatever version. I don't fully understand different versions of Minecraft and Bedrock and Java, but it's Bedrock.
Yeah.
1.2 apparently, but it's got like realms. That was what the other day when we were talking about Minecraft that I was having a hard time getting. I was like, what? There's a certain thing. Realms.
There's worlds, realms.
And then there's the thing where you can ride the camels,
Yeah.
which is the Tails and Trails or whatever. I don't know anything about Minecraft. I don't care about Minecraft. But what I do care about is a lot of people care about Minecraft. And the fact that Microsoft saw fit to build a Chrome OS specific version to make sure, like, hey, this game is going to work. In doing some research, it is the most popular game ever made. It's the most. It's earned the most money. It's sold the most copies. So and by far compared to any other game. Fortnite obviously goes weird with that because you don't have to buy it. You play for free. But I want to say it was like 30 and change million active user base like that are playing constantly. Fortnite's like 80. So I was like, wow, that's a lot. I wonder how many Fortnite has. Like, oh, 80. Okay. 80 million is a lot. But it's also a free game that's on all sorts of platforms. But so is Minecraft. Minecraft isn't free, but it's on all sorts of platforms. So now you got that many people playing that have paid for this thing. So it's like it has this huge fan base that is massive, and it's got this reach unlike most other games. And to see the people that made that game go, Chromebooks are worth us making sure this thing works on and making a big deal about it and going forth and doing it. That is the thing that's worth talking about, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I said in the article, I was like, imagine a world where Fortnite was still in the Play Store. It's not, but if it was, and Epic came along and said, you know what, we are going to make sure that not only is it available for download for Chromebooks, but we're going to make sure and tweak the code, because Fortnite's notorious for this. If up until like a month ago, if you downloaded Fortnite or sideloaded Fortnite on a Pixel 7 Pro, your max frame rate was 30 FPS, and it was like on low settings. It looked like absolute oatmeal on the screen. It was just terrible looking. And then, they finally decided, I guess, like, there's enough people hitting this up on Pixel 7, so, let's make sure that Tensor 2 is supported. And then you get 60 frames, and, you can go to one of the highest graphic settings, all that stuff. And so, Fortnite they'll tweak their software to work with whatever the hardware is given the audience.
Right.
If the audience is big enough. And so, like, in my mind, it was like, okay, this is probably easier to imagine if Epic came along and said, Fortnite's still in the Play Store. We got to imagine that. And said, we're going to make a Chrome OS only version. We're going to make sure it works really well on Intel and ARM processors. And, like, that would be a huge deal because it's got this massive player base and this massive reach. And it just, like, the game never goes away, it feels like. And if they said, yeah, Chrome OS matters enough, we're going to make a game or make our game work on it perfectly. That's what's happened here. And it's easy if you don't play Minecraft to not quite be able to see the importance of that. But the numbers are there to insinuate that Minecraft is just a massive game. And even if you're listening to this going, yeah, I've heard of it, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it either. I don't play it. I don't mess with it. My kids play it. They were super excited. My son especially was. But it doesn't matter. There's just this massive player base, and they made it for Chromebooks.
I thought my kids were going to be excited, but they have Minecraft on Switch, and they played it a lot when we first got the Switch. But they like Roblox. They're Roblox kids.
Yeah. And Roblox, that was another, we talked about it for years.
We made a whole video about that.
They early on saw, like, hey, we've got a way to get a huge chunk of kids. And I would dare say, this is speculation, this is not fact, I would dare say kids like your kids and my kids are sucked into Roblox a little bit more than Minecraft because they made that move. Because the devices that those kids play on and work on at school can also be used to play Roblox.
Very well.
And instead of there being this friction point, I can do that here and I can't do that here, Roblox is like, no, we're going to make this work on the stuff that you've got in front of your face, and we're going to make sure we work.
Yep.
And they took care of that early on. And so during the pandemic, when all these kids at home were getting, their parents are buying them Chromebooks, well, guess what they're doing when they're not doing schoolwork? They're wanting to try to play games.
Yep.
And Roblox is like, cool.
We got it.
It works perfect. And my kids have worn out Roblox on Chromebooks over the years.
I've got it on my phone. I don't like Roblox, but
my kids are like, yeah, you never play it. I'm like, yeah, I know, because I'm an adult.
Yeah, but I have it on my phone because if I'm sitting around the house not doing anything, Roblox. My son's like, get in here with me. And like, it consists of me just following him around, watching him do. I'm like, I could do this without being on my phone, son. But
what is this game? Well, it's just, you just do this.
None of them make any sense to me. Like,
is Roblox still this? Are you in?
It is a.
Are you building stuff?
Games? No, there are some that you.
Are there like separate? Because I think it's Roblox where there's like all the different versions of it, right?
No. There's you build, like, it's a framework to build games.
Yeah.
And so you just play games.
So like
all
a lot,
sorts of games.
like a lot of his like they got into Five Nights at Freddy's. There's a lot of games made after Five Nights at Freddy's. Huggy Wuggy. There's Disney. There's you name it. People have made worlds, and the amount of time invested in making those worlds is
like
mind-boggling.
My daughter, she's 12. She'll be 13. Not that long. Still plays Roblox, and there's a couple games that she plays, and there's one that allows her to like build houses, and then you have to earn money.
Yeah,
like she's paying my son some actual money for him to earn the Roblox money to give her so she can build. She wants to build a hotel.
Yep.
And so you can only work so much in the game to get your money.
No, that's ridiculous.
Like,
that's great.
You want the metaverse? It's there.
Yeah,
like, it's already happening.
Like one of Braden's favorite ones, and I like it because to me Minecraft is, and no dig, but Minecraft is just mind numbing because to me, other than defending yourself against like zombies and stuff like that, there really is no purpose to the game unless you're in a specific realm. I don't know. I've never played one where there's a purpose. You're just building and defending.
Every time
whatever.
I've jumped in, I'm like,
whatever. And if that's what you like, my kids are really good at building stuff. Awesome. But like Roblox, one of their favorite games is Kitty, which Kitty is there's one cat and then there's a bunch of mice, and you're in a house and it's an escape room.
Yeah.
You have to stay away from the cat and get all the keys to unlock the things and reconnect.
Yeah, that's fun.
To me, I'm like that's actually something that's helping develop their brains.
My kids play Doors. They play Doors.
They play that
it's
one.
like a scary, like it's a runner, but it's 3D. Like you got these things, and like there's these different monsters you got to defeat on the way up to the top level. And then Doors 1 came out, and all of them were just like they couldn't wait for the next version to come out, and it just came out recently. And so
that's cool.
Landon's playing Doors all
there
the
was I know there's obviously some streamers who have gotten incredibly popular through Minecraft.
Oh my gosh!
But there was one that I was watching. He made a world that had no gravity. That's all it was.
Okay. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
And so like again, I don't know anything about it. And you don't have to. You don't have to know that it's important that they chose to make it. It's not like somebody side-loaded it and figured out a workaround like we've always had.
Right.
Here it is.
Legit.
Real deal.
Yeah.
Buy it. It will work. We installed it for Landon on his the original Duet. And dude, it was smooth.
Smaller scale, but I mean it's still big scale, but smaller scale. But imagine if Apple tomorrow said, "Hey, we're going to let everyone have iMessage." It's that kind of impact to the Chrome OS ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a big one, and hopefully it's a tipping point.
Yeah,
it's something where other developers go, oh well, if they're doing they're selling it for $20 a pop. Are you serious? Chromebook people will do that.
Yep.
Then it's like, oh well, we can invest in this, and there's this untapped market over here that no one's touching. That the people that get in early will take advantage, and now you have LumaFusion and Minecraft to me that are these two big app announcements. Obviously, Minecraft's way bigger than LumaFusion, but still, they're big deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I could see a handful more following suit. Game wise, it's a little bit different because most cross console games don't have an Android or an iOS version that's not a mobile version. Like you can't play Call of Duty. You're gonna play Call of Duty mobile, but still, some of those mobile games that are huge could also say, "Hey, we're going to make sure this works well on a Chromebook." If you have a touchscreen, great. If you have a controller, like if the game already works with the controller, it works well. They're not going to do mouse and keyboard. Guarantee that. That ship sailed. I've stopped wishing for that.
Right.
That's just not going to happen.
Yeah. But I think it's a tipping point. And I think it's a really, really important move, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, I still think it'd be fun to do a separate episode and maybe even like make it to where we do some research and get some interviews and talk with some folks about it and like put together an episode that is specific to Minecraft. But anywho, that's it for this week, folks. Thanks for tuning in and listening and watching. If you are watching over on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Go down there and click subscribe and click the notification bell. If you do all of those things, Gabe will give you a virtual high five.
Yeah.
In the comment section.
Absolutely. I'll talk to ChatGPT about you.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell them you're my new favorite person.
That's right. All right. That's it for this week. We'll catch you all in the next one. See you.